Today's TCE Trim, all 364 coaches ranked via the Bustin' Brackets edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with our promo code TCESGPN to score up to $1,000 bonus in cash. Underdog Fantasy, promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM today. Welcome, everybody, into the college basketball experience. We're talking coaches here. We're ranking all 364 teams. Shout out to Butts and Brackets. But first, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. And we're talking my favorite subject, Mac tonight over here at the College Basketball Experience. Talking coaches. And it's TCE Trims, so you guys know him. He is the host of the College Baseball Experience and co-host of the College Basketball Experience. He is the drywall hanging, window banging, LeBaron driving, Noah Bieniek, a.k.a. Noah B77. What is up, brother?
What's going on, Mac? Yeah, Sunday night, we were supposed to do the show, but it's not going to happen too much. But the Lions were just happened to be on Sunday Night Football, so that's why there was no Monday episode of TCE Trims. Like we're aiming to do every midweek day is going to have a TCE Trim. It's Sicko season for college basketball. You know, in the off season, Sicko season September. In March, that's snorkeler season. College basketball season begins in November. Today's TCE Trim from the news headlines is Bustin' Brackets annual coaches rankings. This year, they ranked all 364 Division I coaches, and Mac and I want to give them some love for doing so. So I encourage everybody everybody that's watching this or currently listening to this right now, at some point, check out this article. I've got it linked in the description. Here's their top 5 coaches, respectively: Bill Self, Dan Hurley, Mark Few, John Calipari, and Tom Izzo. We're not going through all 364 because we want you guys to tune into this article because they poured in probably hours to probably days into constructing this. Mac, you are they put in days constructing this, and we want you to go check out their great work. Mac, you read most of this, like the coach's guru you are. Positive or negative? What stood out to you most? Overarching, what was your takeaway from this pretty time-consuming piece to construct and also to read at Busting Brackets?
Yeah, shout out to them. I mean, 364 coaches, and they pretty much wrote a paragraph on everybody. I think it all depends on your criteria. What's your criteria for ranking your coaches? Is it who's good right now? The college basketball landscape change in 2020, 21, the COVID year, then the NIL, then the portal, kind of three of the biggest transition and changes that I've talked about at length with coaches over there at the carousel. The coaches tour carousel that I'm doing right now. It's kind of whatever your criteria is. Or is it body of work? Is it national championships? Then you could have an Izzo or Cal. So whatever your criteria is, that would be kind of my first question. I think that you kind of gotta do what the current day. Like I love Tom Izzo, Calipari. Those guys are too high. Those guys are. I'm not saying that the game is past them. They're still running solid programs, but I can't put either of those in my top 5. That was the first thing that caught my eye.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. More so on the Izzo part than Calipari. You know, some could say that this is totally biased coming out of my mouth, being a Michigan fan, but I don't have too much hate to Izzo. He's amazing in that community, but it's more or less like the last 4 or 5 years just haven't been tremendous. Since 2019, he hasn't climbed that mountain, whether it be Elite Eight. That's specifically what I'm talking about. But even regular season success, it really hasn't been there since 2019. So it was, I'm just pointing out one coach in 364. It's an excellent article. But yeah, I'm right there with you with the Izzo ranking, and Calipari's had a little bit more relevance than Izzo, in my opinion. So it's fitting to have him in the top 5, I think.
And another hard thing to rank, Noah, is how much you value postseason success versus regular season success.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to gauge because, yes, I know there's some programs that we like to poke fun of come March, like, hey, they're going to find a way to screw it up.
Yeah.
But, hey, when you win 25 to 30 games every single year in and year out, that's impressive. And there's only one national champion at the end of the day. So, and it kind of makes what UConn's been able to do so incredible.
Yeah. And to further emphasize your point, I mean, for every coach, just reading off of Izzo's blurb that they have in here, which is great. They have his overall record, which obviously is going to favor Izzo. They have the amount of Final Fours he's attended, which is going to favor Izzo. Also, national championships. You go to a guy like you were kind of alluding to. I don't know if it was specifically this guy, but you scroll up a little bit, and it's Rick Barnes. Great record, but one Final Four, and that's his entire thing. Whereas you look at Tom Izzo's, and he's got an entire 3 lines to his
it's crazy
resume. So that's probably had a big part to do that in this. I asked you I wanted you to just go in, just skim and pull out 3 interesting rankings or blurbs from this article. Go ahead and list them off.
I kind of alluded to, I think Cal and Izzo would not be in my top 5. I think also, here's the Big 12 bias to me. I think you have to put Scott Drew and Kelvin Sampson in your top 5. Scott Drew's got a national championship in the last 5 years. He might have won another one if that season hadn't been canceled. Then you look at Kelvin. He's a perfect example of, the postseason, the national championship is the only thing missing. He's won in every single era. He comes to the Big 12 this year. They win the league. He loses his best point. He loses his best player, maybe the best player in the country, to an ankle injury this year. So I would say Kelvin Sampson and Scott Drew, they got to find a way to be in the top 5 for any list because I know they did a Mount Rushmore discussion around the Final Four, and Izzo, or sorry, not Izzo, Sampson and Drew have got to be on it, man. They're in the top 5 in my opinion.
Okay. Cannabis Capper asks a question. He goes, which coach in the 300s can you say making a jump into the top 100 by the end of their career? I'm going to say, if you pull up the article, it's kind of tough to skim the rankings. They have 10 new page. So it's tough. It's going to make my computer explode. But what I wanted to mention actually, prior to even getting into your takeaways, what you found interesting from this article. One thing that I wanted to point out is a lot of the new guys that are starting new tenures in the mid majors, they didn't reward that. So a lot of your new coaches are in the low 300s. So that's the easy answer to the question, Capper, is a new coach starting a tenure at a mid major that you think is going to do well.
I get the perfect one. I get the perfect one right now. He's 337, and I just had him on the show today. Hank Plona at Western Kentucky. He won 88% of his games at Indian Hills Junior College, one of the premier JUCO jobs. I've talked about it. The best coaches come from the JUCO level. Countless examples. Chris Beard, Brad Underwood, guys that know how to win with less. Hank Plona, I think, could be a guy that could jump into the top 100. And he's at Western Kentucky, like you talked about, Noah, where, I mean, that's a good basketball program. So he's got the resources. He was with Steve Lutz last year. He's a guy, just looking at the skimming 300 through 364 is a guy that I think could be on the radar there in a couple years.
Perfect. Hasty's saying his interview was amazing. Classy as fuck.
Great guy.
So were those your 3 takeaways that you kind of hit on? You already gave up?
Another couple guy. How is Chris Beard number 25? I know he had the off the court shit, but he's easily a top 10 coach. Chris Jans at 40 is way too low.
I don't know about easily top 10. I'm going to push back on you on that.
He might be top 5. He built Texas into a national championship in like overnight, and then he went to the national championship with Texas Tech in 2 years. Or
I've got to put you in a
years
place.
Ago.
I've just got to put you in your place. Like, I don't think it's easy top 10. Like you said, I don't think it's easy top 10.
I
don't think so. I can't wait
because he's as good as anybody.
I can't wait because on the back half of this episode, we are going to be drafting 5 coaches that we would most likely to want coach a program. We'll get into that a little bit in a second. My 3 takeaways, I technically cheated and I have more than 3. So the first one is I wanted to go and find the 2 new schools that were new to D1, West Georgia and Mercyhurst. Dave Moore, 347th at West Georgia, and then Gary Manchel in his 22nd year, I believe it was, with Mercyhurst, 334th. Again, I want you to go and read their article, give them a click, check it out, because I think it was great work. The surprising low mid-major, or the surprisingly lowly ranked mid-major head coach to me, because I was just scrolling through. Matt McKillop of Davidson was ranked 282nd.
Yeah.
I just thought that like Davidson is a pretty established A10 program. And 282nd was really interesting. So again, I would go and read that because I found that interesting. And then in the 180s, this is my last point. There was a great stretch. I giggled a little bit when I saw it. Of 3, I was mainly looking when I was doing this exercise. Who was the lowest ranked high major head coach? Minnesota's Ben Johnson took that away.
Yeah. What was he ranked?
183.
He did a good job last year.
I thought he did a great job last year. And then the entire roster got purged. But I thought it was a great coaching job last year. At 182, Damon Stoudemire of Georgia Tech. That I can see. And this is the cherry on top was 181. Do you have a guess?
Who was 181?
Do you have a guess?
No. There's just 360 of them. Give me a league and maybe I could.
My guy Crutch from college baseball killed it. Hit it out of the park. Kyle Neptune. 181. Yeah. Third lowest ranked high major head coach. I can't disagree with that. That
took
honestly,
over a juggernaut.
I mean, they had a great squad last year too.
Yeah.
They lost. They went 0-3 in the Big 5. That was crazy.
The 3 guys that I had labeled as way too low on my list were Beard. I already talked about. Otzelberger being 29. I thought was way too.
You found my fucking guy that I wanted to draft in the back half of this show.
I mean, he's behind Shire and Hubert Davis. Get out of here!
I know. I saw that too. I was like, I'm not gonna bring this up until the back half.
I was like, he's won as many games. He's won more games than those 2, and he's at Iowa State, and they're at Duke and Carolina, and then I thought Chris Jans was too low at Mississippi State at 40. I thought he should have been top 25-ish, man. He's got Mississippi State back-to-back tourneys just like that.
Good points. Anything else that you want to talk about on this article before we get into our draft for today?
Where do we rank Will Wade? I was thinking he's at 41. And I'm
Dude,
like,
my guy over here, Mac, is picking off my list that I'm going to be drafting.
well,
This guy.
because like
So
the deep dive names are the ones that we watch every single night, and then you get the snorkeler names like I like Leonard Hamilton, but he should not be in the top 50 in this day and age.
I mean, you're spitting facts in my opinion.
Kevin Keats went from fired to top 40. He was fired in February. and hey, man, I'm glad that good for Kevin Keats for fighting away, but it's like, I mean, I think, hey, shout out to Buster Brackets for even doing this so that we could yell and debate something. But
Correct.
yeah, a couple overreactions here. And just a list. Tommy Lloyd, I thought was too high. He hasn't proven anything. Your guy Dusty Mays at 31, Michigan.
Hey, there we go. Yeah. He is not on my big board for the draft that we're going to do later. Very, very, very cool article.
Yes.
Great work. The NFL and college football are in full swing. Make sure you subscribe to the Sports Gambling Podcast and College Football Experience for free picks for every game against the spread. And the NFL is back, so Underdog Fantasy Pick'em is giving you a chance to win 1,000 times your entry. Sign up today with the promo code TCE SGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN. Have you ever wanted to create your own sports betting model for football, basketball, baseball? SGPN's proud partner Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps bettors provide and build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Alrighty, we're back here on the college basketball experience, and we're going to do something fun. Mac and I are going to draft 5 coaches each that we would most want to coach at our program right now. There are a couple of different things of criteria that we could possibly use for some of these coaches. Whether you are at a mid-major and you need recruiting, but also are looking for March success, whether you're at a mid-major and just want consistent winning, whether you're at a low major and you want dominance in your conference. This is going to be fun because both Mac and I think, attacked this pretty similarly just by the names that Mac has already thrown out there that I have on my big board. I only have 10 names on my big board because I know 10 people are going to get drafted. So, Mac, we're going to do our tradition here.
I love how you thought you were like going to sneak a Big 12 guy in on me. Like I haven't been on a staff against these guys to know how good they are.
I wasn't sure if you scrolled over number 29 or not.
No, that was like the one I was like, what? He's got Iowa State is like a national championship contender. Get him out of 29.
Okay. So heads or tails, whether you want to pick first or second. Do you want to pick first or second?
Heads. I'll pick second.
Right. Okay. So heads for second, tails you pick first. Heads or tails? Heads or tails? So
heads.
It's heads. I didn't have my volume turned up again. Damn it. I screwed that up both times. All right. You're up.
I thought I'd picking second.
Didn't you choose tails or did you choose heads?
I chose heads, and I said I wanted to defer for the second.
Okay.
Because I wanted 2 and 3.
So you're giving me the #1 pick.
Yeah, go ahead and take it.
I'm giving it. I'm taking the dude that's dominated your league. Give me Bill Self.
I thought you were going to take Hurley. That's why I was like, give me. I want Self.
You can't ask for anything more consistent than that, baby. Like,
good pick.
How many Big 12 straight titles until this year with Houston jumping in? But seriously, that's incredible. I don't need the national championships if I'm consistently winning throughout the winter. That's going to give my fan base everything in the world. They're happy.
He won it 3 years ago too. It's not like he hasn't won it recently. He's the last champion other than UConn.
True. So he's my #1 pick. You are on the turn. You get 2 and 3 back to back here.
All right, so I'll take Hurley. I really thought you were going to take Hurley. It's hard to argue against Hurley, man. I mean, He's got that thing figured out. He's got that thing rolling at UConn, back-to-back national championships. And he really, I thought, validated it even more so this year by dominating the Big East regular season. Last year, they got really hot in March. They stumbled in the regular season. I thought it was even more impressive this year, going 37-3 with the target on their back. So Hurley, for number 3 overall, I went back and forth between the two guys. I think Scott Drew. I mean, I think we forget where Baylor was when this guy took over. They had a murder. They couldn't even have a team his first year. And I know they haven't had the tournament success since Jerome Tang left. But when you get to the round of 32 after you won a national championship and you could have arguably won it the year before, he what he's done at Baylor is just incredible. So I would say he's my number 3, and that's why he was the first name. I know he's at 7. He's way too low on that list. He's easily top 4, top 5.
Yeah, and this is where I'm going to go to my number 4. You needed program rebuilt. For the record, my number 2 was Hurley. Number 3 was Scott Drew. So number 1, number 2, I wanted consistent national championship ceiling. Yep. The second most important thing that impresses me is program building. I have TJ Otzelberger. He took over Iowa State when they had 2 fucking wins. 2 wins. And they go out and they blow out Houston in the Big 12 championship last year by 30. That's impressive as hell. So I have Otz, and then the next level, the next 2 coaches that I wanted to go for was talent acquisition. That was the next thing I wanted. Give me Will fucking Wade.
Oh yeah.
Dude, the job that this guy has done in acquiring talent at McNeese State is unbelievable. And last year I thought they were going to win a game in the NCAA tournament, but shit, they've made me so much money throughout the regular season last year. I think he's going to dominate once again. So at this level where he's currently at, I want him coaching my program for the next 5 years. I don't think he's going to be at McNeese State for the next 5 years, but if he is, that's like the best thing possible for McNeese State. Go ahead. Your third pick, it's 6th overall.
Yeah, I like Will Wade. But he a little high on my list. I love Otzelberger too, but I can't take Otzelberger over this guy. And I don't care how old he is. I don't care how old is he, just out of curiosity. He is 68 years young. We're staying right in the Big 12. Kelvin Sampson.
We're staying right in the Big 12.
You talk about building a program. Houston was not winning when he got there. He built that thing up, and basically now he's just like, oh, they're going to win 30 games. They're going to win 30. They'll go 33-3. I mean, they even did it in the Big 12 this year. I know you mentioned they got drilled in the title game. They have had a little bit of March Madness bad luck with injuries the last couple of years, but he's got an Elite 8, a Final 4, multiple Sweet 16s. I mean, the culture they have at Houston is unreal. So I'll go Kelvin Sampson, and then I went back and forth on this next one. I think I'm going to go to the SEC, and I'm going to go with the guy that's won the regular season 2 out of the last 4 years, and then this year he loses all his assistant coaches. What does he do? He goes to the Final 4, Nate Oates. Nate Oates has got the thing going at Alabama. 117-54, 62-28 in SEC play. You talk about being innovative. Everybody wants to play for him. Just the way that they spread you out, drive and kick, shoot a bunch of threes. It works, and now he's got the Final 4 to really pound that thing home and keep killing it in the NIL and portal era. The guy can coach.
I'll tell you this. If we were to put the 2 teams that we're drafting up on a graphic, you're going to win. In a social media poll.
We need let's put that out tomorrow. Let's go.
But I structured or attacked this a little bit differently. I've got reasons for every ranking.
You better take Matt Painter. It's your boy.
He wasn't on my draft board.
What is going on? Somebody drug test Noah. His boy Matt Painter.
Of each category that I wanted, he wasn't in the draft board. Okay, so my fourth pick, I'm going 9th overall.
Yeah.
8th overall. 8th overall.
8th. Yeah, you have 8th and 9th.
Yep. This category was character, and I have 2, but it's got to be Rick Pitino.
Oh God, Colby
right?
lost you.
Like, dude, he is a force on the sideline. You're intimidated by him.
Did you say
And
character?
yeah, character. Like not
Oh,
because
entertaining. I was like, I think you meant like high character.
Yes,
I was like,
thank you. Like the character that he is,
got
like
you.
how entertained you are by him. How many post-game quotes went viral of him last year? Just 1 year, and he's won everywhere. College, multiple national championships, NBA, overseas, like every stage of basketball that this guy's coached at, he's won. David Matola wants me to take Tobin Anderson.
Do it.
Yeah. So the 5th and final category that I have is mid-major winner. And I have multiple leftovers on my draft board that I haven't taken. And this is the toughest pick for me because I wanted to, be cute, go out of my way, take a mid-major. I'm going to go with Shaheen Holloway. Getting to the Elite 8 with St. Peter's is like the most impressive thing I've ever seen. A 15 seed in the final 8 is ridiculous. They beat the 2 seed, the 3 seed, and I think the 8 seed, 9 seed, whatever.
Why wouldn't you take Shaka then with that criteria?
Because St. Peter's was more Cinderella-ish, and Shaheen won everybody over. Like he was so lovable during the run, and he's also a defensive-minded head coach, and I love that. And he can be scrappy, and he's also now back at his alma mater. It's a really, really good story. So that's my 5th and final pick. 10th overall. You're up. Your 5th pick. Go ahead.
I like going outside the box. Seton Hall fans are going to send you a care package, baby. Ian Holloway, baby. A lot of really good guys. By the way, Jamie Dixon was too high on that list. That was one
I thought so too. Cannabis Capper has a better term for me. I should have used personality.
Personality. You should have taken Muscleman with your last pick if you wanted some personality. Dude, I'll take your guy. I'll take Matt Painter.
Thank you.
I mean,
good job.
I think Matt Painter's the new Izzo in the Big Ten. I think Purdue has served all their bad demons with the losing to a 13 seed, a 14 seed, a 15, and a 16. They finally got over the hump this year. I think for the next couple of years, I think they're going to have some positive luck in March, actually. They got the monkey off their back. They can breathe a little bit. I think they're just going to continue to run a good program. And Matt Painter, I know what I'm getting, 25, just like Kelvin Sampson. Pencil me in for 25 to 30 wins right there. Get some good luck. Maybe we can get back to another Final Four. So give me the Paint Man in West Lafayette.
My fingers are crossed. I'm rooting for that guy. He's one of my favorites.
Him and Kelvin are 2 guys that I'd like to see win national championships. Kelvin Sampson and Matt Painter.
100%. Were there any guys on your big board that were not drafted?
I had Bruce Pearl. I mean, he's been really good at Auburn. He's been consistent. He's been to a Final Four. He's won at Tennessee. He's won it to mid-major with Milwaukee too. I think he's really good. I think Shaka's really good. Shaka's been really consistent at Marquette. He's just not a blue blood guy like at Texas. So, and I had Beard. I know you're pushing back on Beard, but he built that juggernaut and handed those keys right to Rodney Terry via his own actions. But hey, if he doesn't have that dust up, man, he might have a national championship. Or if they just had not fouled, or if they had fouled up 3 and not given up that 3 to Virginia, he might have a national championship too. Tony Bennett's right there too. I mean, they're not sexy, but he's the Kirk Ferenz of college basketball. Yeah, Ferentz. Yeah, I always butcher his name. Ferentz of college hoops.
Yeah. So my draft board, so Crutch mentions one of them, Mark Few from Gonzaga. He didn't like have his paws on it first.
Yeah.
But to maintain and take it to new heights at Gonzaga was incredible. David Matola is asking about Tommy Lloyd. I think both Mac and I have the same feelings about Lloyd. I mean, what kind of postseason success yet is the question there.
Mark Few. We should have thrown Mark Few in there. You're right. He's right there.
Yeah, I mean the issue, I guess, with mine was I wasn't drafting based on like how high they are in hierarchy and in what's the other word that I'm looking for, and pedigree. I was going for specific characteristics and coaches that I like. There were 3 mid-major guys that I had to leave off that I couldn't draft. Brian Dutcher of San Diego State. He was under the consistency model. Super consistent in the Mountain West. John Becker as well.
Vermont.
And a mid-major winner at Vermont. And then for character, Greg Campy. Love that guy.
Yeah.
In our community, he's amazing. But I couldn't draft him over Patino.
No doubt.
So yeah, that was my big board there. Jeff Sharp says St. Mary's coach. Got to give
Randy Bennett.
He
was on my list. I should say, actually, I totally misplaced Few. Few was my first guy out. The more and more I think about it, he was right behind Painter. Him and Painter 1-2.
I don't know if it was Few or Tommy Lloyd recruiting overseas. I thought it was Lloyd.
It was Lloyd. It was Lloyd, but I mean, Few continues. He said Juwan Howard.
David Matola continues to troll, saying Juwan Howard, and Crutch asking for John Dunn. But yeah, that's going to wrap up today's show. I mean, we snubbed a hell of a lot of guys, but if you want to go and find your dude, go over there and find it in Bustin' Brackets article. 364 coaches ranked. Pretty impressive. So yeah, it's linked down in the description below. That wraps up today's TCE Trims topic. If there's another topic that you guys, the listeners, the viewers, would like to hear from us more on, or just our analysis on it, leave it in the YouTube comments below, or hit us up on Twitter /X at Moneyline_Mac or at NoahB77_. We will be here throughout the offseason providing daily news episodes, and also our conference previews begin this week on Thursday with, not this week Thursday. We've already done the NEC last Thursday. We did the SWAC today. We will have 2 more coming out this week. For the most part, we're going in reverse order of last season's final KenPom rankings. Here on YouTube, we will have all of these things sorted into a nice playlist for you. If you're strictly looking to binge college basketball conference previews, TCE Trims, or even Mac's excellent summer school coaches tour. Gosh, he's aiming to interview 68 mid-major head coaches this offseason. Also in the various playlists, you can find the college football experience, the Big 12 experience, and the college baseball experience. If you scroll our YouTube channel a little bit further, you can find more SGPN shows, as we have something for everybody. MMA gambling podcast, NBA gambling podcast, golf gambling podcast, F1 gambling podcast, NHL gambling podcast. Or if you want one main show that dips their toes in every big event, while also hitting home runs in the NFL every single day, check out the flagship sports gambling podcast of our network. Do us one more favor as we head out of here. Drop a like and hit that subscribe button. This has been the College Basketball Experience. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.